Guys, today we'll just be continuing our C video tutorial, so we're just going to be working with some functions. So we're just going to be practicing some common functions that you probably will be using a lot. So we'll just do a few practice codes here. So we'll just include our import statements. This is a standard header file for input and output, so we'll just start with the function void main. So we'll just return void, so return nothing. We can input void here as well. So void main void, pass in the parameter void. So here we'll create a string. So to do that we have to create a character array. So we'll call it password. We'll index it to, seems like too much. So we'll just say, we'll index it to 20, value of 20 elements. So here we'll call the function puts, and we'll say enter an 8-character password. And here we'll call gets password. And again we'll call puts password again. So what do these functions do exactly? So the C library function puts writes a string to standard output stdout, but not including the null character. A new line character is appended to the output. So at the end there should be also a new line with it. Takes a string as a parameter. So, well, that's a char. So it takes a character array as a parameter. So it's a char pointer str. So remember, a pointer is like an array. To the return value, if successful, a non-negative value is returned. On error, the function returns EOF. So what does a function gets do? So we're going to be using that as well. So it's also the C library function. It reads a line from stdin, so standard input, and stores that into a string pointed to by str, so the character array or the pointer str. So the value returns the str on success and null on error, or when end of file occurs. I feel like this definition isn't that great. It should be printing it to, it should be taking it from standard input. Okay, yeah, so it reads a line from standard input and outputs it to standard output. So it's nothing too bad, nothing too hard. So we'll just demonstrate here. So we'll just set a breakpoint here with the debugger icon. Whoops, I spelled that wrong. So we'll just it'll still run. It's just the string error here. So I'll just stop that, not to confuse anyone. Just resave that and run it. Okay, so we have our variables here at the bottom. We can see we have our character array, name, password, index to 20 elements. So it's just full of garbage values again. Initialized to garbage values, so it's just declared, it hasn't been initialized, but in memory it's just storing garbage values at this time. So we're going to execute this line puts, enter a 8-character password. Output, you should be able to see that if you can't see my window because it's external, so it should be another window. That way we can use EOF. If we don't do that, the commands don't work. So in your output, you should see if you're running externally or if you're just running in the. So just remember, if you're not running externally, you won't be able to use the commands. But you should see enter a 8-character password on your output. So here we're going to execute. We're going to step over this line. It's going to wait for input. So 8-character password. Let's just say trees. Tree blue. I don't know, something like that, or tree and then B1. U3. Something like that. Hit enter. Then now we're gonna call puts, and we're gonna print out the password to the screen to standard output. So you enter the password and it outputted the password. So nothing too complicated. So we'll just do a few more before we continue to the next video later on. So we can do something similar here with fgets. So we'll do pretty much the same thing with fgets as well. So what does fgets do? Just pulling up a definition here for you guys. So the C library function char pointer fgets takes a character pointer str, an integer n, and a file stream pointer. So it reads a line from the specified stream and stores it in the string pointed to by str. It stops when either n-1 characters are read or an end of file is reached. So the parameters str, pointer to an array of characters where the string is read and stored, and the maximum number of characters to be read, and the file stream. So the return value returns the same str parameter. If end of file is encountered, then no characters have been read, and the contents of the string remain unchanged and a null pointer is returned. So we'll just we'll demonstrate what happens with it. So we'll just same thing. So we have actually here we'll change this to int main. So we'll return a number this time. Return a whole value, whole integer, and then we'll say int main void. So no parameters. That just means no parameters for void. Void the parameters. So here we just have a character password. Same thing. Enter an 8-character password. Same thing. We'll use puts. You will say fgets instead. Oh, sorry, we're going to need another file for this to use that function. Another import statement, so we'll say hashtag include string.h. So that way we can use fgets as well. So fgets password, we'll just say maximum values are 20, and the files, the input string is stdin. So this tells the length of the string and the input string, and then we'll say just puts, again, we'll just print it out to the output using the function puts. And at the end, we'll just return 0. So save, actually, so I'll have to stop out of that process, save it, and then re-debug it. Okay, so we have our password array again, which is a character array, which is pretty much a string. That's how we use strings in C, and then so we'll have puts, enter a 8-character password. So it just printed that out. In the output, you can see that, and then fgets a password. So fgets is going to get standard output, save it to password, max count is 20, and it's going to get the input from standard input. So you can also get the input from a file stream or a binary stream. So we'll do some examples on that after. So fgets here we'll be entering an 8-character string, so we'll just say like M055 like moss, or M0 or 055, and then we'll just say a TR33, just some kind of password, and then so it got that output, right? Sorry, it got that input, saved it to the password variable, and we'll call the function puts, and that's going to re-output that to the screen. So there you go. So it reprinted our password. So it got input and then reprinted it to output to standard. So it got the string from standard input and then printed it out to standard output. And once we execute this last line, it'll return 0 to satisfy the int return type at the top. We can see that here we return an int, so we return 0 to satisfy that. So I hope that helps. You guys learned a few functions, puts, gets, and fgets. So if you want to see more programming videos, you can subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.